Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I am going to share my knowledge regarding the Spring. So we are going to start a new series regarding the Spring framework from the Spring Basic to Spring Advanced. So in this tutorial we are going to learn step by step like what is Spring, how the benefit of Spring framework, how we can use the Spring inversion of controller, Spring bin lifecycle, and XML configuration, annotation configuration, all that thing. So yeah, we'll jump to the first topic. Means what is Spring? Basically, Spring is the most popular application development framework for the enterprise Java. So the core feature of the Spring framework can be used in developing any Java application, but there are some extensions for building web application on top of Java EE platform. So Spring framework target to make J2EE development easier to use. The promotes good programming practice by enabling a POJO programming model. So basically, Spring is a ready to use framework. So it's already built some of the extension. So we no need to worry about it. We only need to focus on our logic. So we no need to code from the scratch. So only we can use the existing extension and we can achieve it. Okay, and that's why Spring framework is most popular now. So we'll see what are the benefit we'll get from this Spring framework. So we'll go point by point. So in first point, Spring enable developer to develop enterprise class application using POJO. The benefit of using only POJO is that you don't need to an heavy container product such as an application server, but you have the option of using all a robust servlet container such as Tomcat or some commercial products. Means in the earlier technology, we are means is a big container. Basically, we are using the application server. This is a vast server actually. So right now, if you go for the Spring framework, then we'll only use the Tomcat, which is the web server, which is work as a application server. Yeah, and the next point means Spring. It's the most important point actually. Like Spring is organized in a modular fashion. Even though the number of packages and classes are substantial, so you have to worry only about the ones you need and ignore the rest. So basically, Spring is a organized modular fashion. So we can use the multiple module in the Spring projects actually. So whenever we will split our task to different modules, so no need to worry. So, suppose we have on a specific task, then we only focusing on that module, so no need to worry about the other module. So basically it's provided flexibility of and loose coupling. So basically we will use the modular, so we will divide our task into different model and we can work on it, and we can ignore the other module. So that is one of the means great advantage of using the Spring framework. And Spring does not reinvent the wheel. Instead of truly make use some of the existing technology like the Serval ORM framework, logging framework, J2E, Quartz, and dedicate timer. Means basically Spring will not invent new wheel. Means it's basically not reinvent the new thing. Basically, what about the means we have the existing framework, it easily fit into it. Like we have a ORM framework, so we can easily fit the Spring into the ORM framework. We have already login framework, so we can easily integrate with the Spring. A lot of other framework are there, so we can easily integrate with the Spring framework. So that is the benefit we are getting from the Spring framework. And testing an application is most important. So also provide the Spring means easy functionality to test the application, right? So it's become easier to use the dependency injection and injecting the test data. So basically, like Spring provide the JUnit test cases easily. We can write and test it, so we can easily test our application. And Spring Web Framework is a well-designed web embassy framework which provides a great alternative to the web frameworks such as Strutt and other over-engineered or less popular web framework. So means the it's provided built on Spring MVC framework, so we can means it's provide a better alternative to the other framework which not coming as a MVC framework. So we'll get great advantage of Spring MVC framework because it's already provided ready to use Spring framework. Spring MVC framework. So basically the idea is like Spring already provided MVC build upon, so we no need to worry about it. So basically Spring only will only focus on the code part, and Spring provides a convenient API to translate technology-specific exceptions thrown by JDBC, Hibernate into consistent and unchecked exceptions. So already means Spring means it's a ready-to-use framework, means it's built lot of means API, lot of functionality inside it. So it's already handle lot of exception functionality like JDBC, Hibernate. If you configure this with the Spring framework, then it's automatically handle everything like exception, everything. So we no need to much worry about the other framework. So it's already configure easily and you can handle easily every exception, everything. And like a Spring framework is a lightweight framework because it uses the IOC container. In the next chapter, we are going to learn what is the IOC container and what is the benefit we are getting from the IOC container, especially when we compare to the EJB container. The beneficial of the developing and deploying application on the computer with limited memory and CPU resource. So, like in the earlier legacy technology like AZB and all that thing, we need huge memory and CPU utilization. So it's reduced, means it's lightweight. That's why it's used the limited memory and limited CPU usage. That's why we call it a Spring framework is a lightweight framework because it's used very less memory as compared to the other framework and the CPU resource as well. And like Spring provides a consistent transaction management interface that can scale down to the local transaction and scale up to the global transaction. Means like Spring already provide the transaction management inside its Spring framework, so we can easily scale down to the local transaction. Easily we can scale down to the local transaction and scale up to the global transaction. I mean, scale down to means we can use the single database. Like in our development environment, we can use the single database, so we can scale down to our local transaction. Uh, Like in the production environment or other environment, we can scale up to our global transaction. So we'll see in the coming chapter, we'll learn the Spring transaction also. Okay, then next thing we need to mean set up our local to start our Spring coding actually. So for that, in the earlier, basically we need to download the Spring jar and we need to put it. So we no need to do that one. So we'll go like I will guide you how to do that one. So we can easily means set up in our local environment and easily we can develop. So we will go to the Spring initializer. And just search initializer in the Google. It will open the starts.spring.io. So if you just click that one and you can choose as a Maven project. So a lot of means they are like project structure and all that thing. So for we right now we can use Spring Boot actually. Don't worry, in the next future we are going to learn Spring Boot also. So for timing, I am avoiding the downloading the lot of jar file and maintaining. So because right now you can use the Spring Boot, so it easily means import all the jar and automatically put the all the jar into our resource path actually. So let's see. So I will put groove and like it's a spring demo project. Okay. Then actually I am using Java 8. So here we'll add the web. So it's automatically contain all the Spring MVC related jar and all the configuration. So we'll use Java. So then generate the code, Spring demo. Then we'll go to the Eclipse and we'll import this project. So basically, then you have to go to file, then new, then project from the existing source. Then go to the code and just click on this form.xml. Yeah, it's now important. So if you see guys, it's already handle all the jar, everything. Already it's downloaded Spring, jar, Spring, all Spring related MVC, everything, core, everything. So it's already downloaded basic. What about the Spring related jar is there. In future, whenever we are using other functionality, we will use the other jar as well. So basic. Then in the next video, we are going to learn the Spring. What is the inversion controller in the Spring Framework and how it works? And we will write some code in the IntelliJ as well to see how it's behave and what is the benefit of this Spring Framework, like what is the benefit of the Spring container. Like we will learn both the XML based configuration as well as annotation based configuration. So if you guys like my channel, please subscribe. So in the next video you will get notified. Okay, bye bye, we'll see you in the next video.